Let me see. Where are we at here?
Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Nerdsters of the Universe. I'm
Hey,
Kerwin,
I'm Pizza.
and we're back another week. Hopefully, we're still going strong. Hopefully, new people are coming. Lots happened, man. Who called it? Who called it?
What's that?
Who said Wednesday?
I did. I said Wednesday.
I said Tuesday. I said Wednesday.
I said Wednesday. I said by Wednesday. I thought you said Thursday.
No, I said Wednesday. You said Tuesday.
I'll have to look at that. I remember I just said by Wednesday they were going to have a verdict, and then
I think you said Tuesday, maybe by Wednesday after I said Wednesday. But
something like that.
We
It
can go
won't be
back,
long.
I'll be proven wrong, and I'll be like, fine, whatever, okay.
We were both kind of calling it for an early verdict. I didn't think it was going to be.
Well,
I didn't think they were going to take that long. You know.
Ashley was saying Friday. Oh, that's going to come back right away. No, it's going to take a little bit.
No, they had a lot to go over, and they had a lot of instruction. I mean, they had a whole day on instruction just for the jury.
Before we dive into it, people are going, "What are they talking about?" and backing out. We were talking about the Depp trial. Now we've got the Depp trial. We've got Mr. Pizza right there. Went and watched Top Gun 2.
Oh yeah.
Within less than a week, we've got 3 episodes of Obi-Wan. We've got Strange New Worlds, Orville hit. Pizza has watched Stranger Things.
You know what? My daughter Anna was telling me about that. Stranger Things.
Oh, man. Amazing. We had so much going on, and it is great. So,
yeah, this was a big sci-fi week this week.
Heck yeah, that's why I love my birthday week. Always is.
Hey, right. Ashley's in our.
Oh, Ashley
spinning those pens.
Oh yeah, getting some stock built up and filling orders. Whew. All right, so let's go back to the Depp trial, man. The Depp trial.
We both kind of called that for. I mean, I knew he wasn't going to get.
We both got it. I mean,
yeah, I knew he wasn't going to get the whole $50 million. Like, I didn't think they were going to get $50 million, especially with Virginia being capped at $350,000 for the one thing. But he got everything. I mean, I think they threw her the $2 million thing just to be like, here's a little bone for you.
No, she was right.
Yeah, the lawyer.
That part of the case was accurate. His attorney did a smear type campaign, and by extension, no, she had every right to win in that lawsuit. See, that's the thing, is it's divvying up what the lawsuit is.
The thing I get about it is that they say the lawyer is an extension, his Johnny Depp's voice. He's working on behalf of Johnny Depp. Well, now, since the verdict, her attorney, Elaine, has been going out and smearing everybody else on all the talk shows and interview tour and all that stuff. So,
yes, but at the same time, he already won.
He won. I know if he didn't get any money, I think he got his life back.
Exactly. But that's the difference. He already won. She's going out talking. The situation with his lawyer was before he had won or lost, before he lost the UK trial, it was before the trial even hit. It went through. So that was, it was already going. He already won.
Yeah.
Whatever she says isn't going to matter. It's not.
I think it's just the point of the whole thing. I mean, she's out there smearing him. What's to stop him from saying, let's do it again? I don't think he wants to deal with that again, but
what's the point?
Someone needs to smack her around and be like, yeah, what the hell?
No, he won.
Yeah.
But, I mean, no, she had to win that one because it was accurate. I mean, that's what gets me is talking about the interviews that her lawyer's doing. It cracks me up. She's all like, we already won this case back in the UK, and we weren't able to tell the jury that we won this case already. You didn't win anything back in the UK. You weren't the one being sued. Amber wasn't the one being sued. It was the newspaper being sued.
Right.
And yes, the newspaper took information and evidence you had to one judge without having any idea of the judge's bias. Who knows?
Right.
We'll say anything about anybody, but we don't know that. It was one person, and they put that out there. And I wonder if that judge is kicking himself in the rear right now because Johnny's team tried to put evidence in that she hadn't paid her alimony into the I lost the word. Donations. That she hadn't fully paid the donations. And that judge goes, no, that's not enough evidence. You can't.
Well, that was in the UK, yeah. But
that's what I'm saying. I wonder if that judge kicking himself in the rear being like, whoa, all this.
That was and what's her name? Camille tore that up.
Yeah, all this evidence,
She kept saying, I pledged all of it. Well, I could pledge $1 million to Pets R Us or whatever.
This is where she messed up with that. She literally just got done saying, I wasn't going to let him make his payments directly as a donation because he's not going to reap the tax benefits from it and be able to get around. Like, straight up right there, you're saying that you're doing it.
Right.
Because you want to hurt him. That's the whole point. It had nothing to do with her being able to get the money or her being able to donate the money. Oh, it's not about money. It's going, I don't want him to have that money.
Right.
And then she straight up says, she admits that the whole reason she did it was to clear her name. Again, nothing to do with donating it, solely for personal benefit.
Yeah.
But on top of that, she spoke about the donations and him donating it in tax laws as though she understands what donations are.
Right.
And then not long after go, well, I use donate and pledge synonymously. No, you don't, because if you did, guess what? The IRS is going to be knocking on your door because if you are claiming what you pledge on your taxes, you got a problem. No,
right.
You claim what you donate on your taxes. That's the kicker. She admitted that she knew what it was and then turned around and tried to twist it around to her own little way. And that's the thing. Her lawyers trying to be like, oh, the jury, they got on social media and saw all this smear stuff. No. She was being rude to the jury by staring at them and belittling them, trying to explain stuff that we people already know.
Yeah, she was practically mansplaining to the jury.
She sat right there on the stand and said, those are two separate photos. When everyone can look at those two
They're
photos.
Not idiots. Yeah, people are not idiots.
Those are the same photo. And loved it. Camille brings that expert in and it's like, okay, let's play the video.
Yeah, there they are.
Same photo, but you said it was two separate photos. 3 separate photos. I don't know if the third one was admitted in this case, but the UK had 3 separate photos. I know they had 2 because the one they showed the jury during their closing statement was the one where the cigarette was not on the ashtray.
Right.
Of the cocaine table that happens to have a photo where the cocaine case is missing in one.
Yeah.
The ashtray is moved in another one. The CD on Depp's bag moves. However, all 4 lines of coke are still there. The alcohol in the glasses has not been touched. The paper, all of Johnny's stuff, his jacket, the newspaper, his tobacco, his cigarette, the ashtray, all of that, and a glass of brown whatever, is on the other side of the table.
Oh, yeah.
Jacket on chair. He's not going to read the paper on the opposite side of the table. The lines of coke are on her side of the table, where she's sitting down because in one picture you can see her knee.
You can see the leg under there, yeah.
Glass. She's sitting there. And she's sitting there long enough for an ashtray to move.
Yeah.
CD to move. The Johnny Depp case little container to be vanish or whatever. Like, it was either staged or that was her coke. And she wasn't going, yay, mornings, Johnny's doing coke. No, she's going, yay, mornings, look at my breakfast.
Yeah.
Either way, they saw through it. And
I got relatives and friends I know that were saying specifically, with someone who's an addict, how long do you think 4 lines of coke are going to sit on that table? Come on, that was staged. I'm sorry, I have my court TV consultant here now. Val's here.
Hi guys.
Yeah, there's Val.
Are you guys waiting for the next trial, the next part of the trial with Johnny Depp? That most people don't realize there's a trial June 14th or 15th?
That's not a trial. What that is where they get together and work out the payment stuff.
No, there's an actual trial. It is between Johnny Depp and the ALCU because they are exorbitantly trying to charge for the paperwork that he wanted in discovery. They're charging $80,000, and there's all kinds of laws against it. It's actually between the New York part of the ALCU.
ACLU.
Yeah, I'm sorry, the American Civil
Liberties
Union. Yeah. So it's against the main one. They're trying to charge $80,000 for their lawyers to Johnny Depp for getting together the records just to say that she didn't pay the pledges.
Oh, they're going to get tore up. It's not the same judge.
That was my mistake.
Judge Penny?
I think it's going to be Judge Penny, or it's going to be in New York. This is a trial that most people don't know. That there's another one coming for this.
Is this going to be televised too?
I don't believe this one's going to be televised, but I do have a couple people following it.
On this, you got to get on YouTube.
I guess that's where I differ from Johnny. I understand the principle of it and everything, but at the same time, I would walk in there and I would go, "Thank you so much for providing." I would have cameras follow me.
Yeah.
And I'd walk in there and go, "Thank you so much for finally providing the truth and showing." I would straight up say that to them.
Yeah.
In the
really put them on the spot. Yeah. Put them on the spot so anything they say.
How much of a fraud she is.
Yeah. Put them on the spot so anything they say after that makes them look like some kind of dick bag,
She also.
Excuse me now.
She also. Johnny Depp had to file in New York to squash 40 subpoenas that she wanted because she wanted to all of Harvey Weinstein, the Weinstein Company files, because she wanted to see if Harvey Weinstein ever had a conversation with Johnny Depp that she could weaponize. And 40 of her subpoenas were squashed. They were kicked out. So, there's a California trial that was found against her, and the lawyers were sanctioned. That is big. It ruins your career because they were trying to play all games. Amber Heard was sanctioned, so she had already lost against Johnny Depp in California. And people keep talking about how she won the UK trial. She was not a party in the UK trial.
Right, that's what we were saying.
She was a witness.
It was News Group Now. That was the Daily Mail.
Uh-oh.
Wait, are you okay, Rob?
Well, yeah, I'm looking at Crashley's commenting away over here.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I haven't picked up my phone yet. Hi, Crash.
Yeah, that's why this is my Val Court TV here. She's been watching it religiously.
Yeah, I have, and the guy they kept quoting in court, that umbrella guy. I know you watch Popcorn Planet, who's a friend of his, but I've been watching the umbrella guy.
Yeah, the umbrella guy.
Yeah, I've been catching Popcorn Planet. See, I used to watch Screen Junkies.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize he had another, channel where he was doing stuff. So.
Do you know why he started following the Amber Heard trial? Because Screen Junkies got rid of him because a couple of girls got together and tried to Me Too him, Andy Senior.
Oh.
So that's why he got kicked out of Screen Junkies. And he showed it on a video recently. So you probably will see it. It was within the last few weeks. But he was Me Too'd and for flirting with girls. And he admits that he was flirting with them. But nothing ever came of it. There was no inappropriate things. Nothing happened. But they said they kicked him out. And he was able to prove it later. But he was like, I'm not going back there. So he started Popcorn Planet.
Yeah, I don't even think the rest of these trials are really going to make a difference either way. It's just the fact that the big one, he won now. He's got his life back. He's like everybody else,
Well, the mainstream media is still trying.
The mainstream media, nobody believes
the mainstream media is going to try to go with however they can. And right now, it's all about you gotta. They're still stuck on the Me Too movement, and where the Me Too movement, where the Me Too movement messed up, is it wasn't Me Too is like anybody. You would think Me Too. Okay, anybody who has been
Oh, Rob's trying to grab the cat. Don't mind
Sorry.
him.
anybody who's been abused. Speak up. We got your back. But it turned into a complete and total women's movement.
Yes.
Right.
There's nothing wrong with women's movements in a world that obviously oppression exists. However, you can't discount abuse towards men
To anybody, yeah.
Yeah.
solely because of it. That's not the hill to try to separate genders.
No.
Victim has no gender. Abuser has no gender. I mean, they're both evil is evil, and victims are victims. I mean, that's just how it is.
Yep.
As much as that movement got a little, I don't want to say crazy. I mean, it
was a good idea.
It was a good idea when it started, and a lot of that's when Alyssa Milano started. And the only one I think I still have a lot of respect for, I don't agree with her all the time. I mean, I know I lean a little more right than left or whatever, but Rose McGowan was there with the Kavanaugh thing, and she was like calling him out and calling the Me Too thing and trying to get, even though it was investigating and she was looking at the evidence. But when it went to Biden and someone accused Biden and they kind of buried it before the election, all the other people were like, oh, no, we have to investigate. They were kind of flip-flopping on their side. Rose McGowan still said it doesn't matter who he is or what side of the aisle they're on. Complaint's a complaint to be investigated. So I kind of, give her the props for doing her thing,
A prime example of it is you've got women in Hollywood that came out during the Me Too movement, and it was believe all women. You got Amber Heard. We'll use her as an example because this is the situation.
Yeah.
She came out, said this thing, her story changed all the time, and it always got worse and worse and worse. Go back and look at those 12 accounts of abuse that she convinced the judge in the UK.
Yep.
And
I almost want to say somebody paid the judge in the UK.
There is proof, like the lawyer's son, or not the lawyer's son, the judge's son worked for not Adam Waldman. I can't think at the moment the guy who wrote the article's name. The guy who wrote the article himself. His son the judge's son was a subordinate to the guy who wrote the article, and he did not recuse himself.
Yeah, there was a lot of.
What I'm saying is she can come out and say this and run Johnny's career into the mud, and everyone believes her. But for how long? Because she's a woman. It's 100% belief. She took it, ran with it, and it just flew. But for how long has Corey Feldman been saying he was abused numerous times in the 80s, and everyone looks at him and is like, you couldn't have been abused, you're a guy. You're lying. Right. You're just upset your career didn't take off. You're like, it's the double standard. And that's the thing about this case is it's not so much just, it's the evidence is there. If Depp's team or if Heard's team truly believed the evidence was there that she was abused, why use fake photos?
Right.
And
everything. She lied. Every testimony on her side of the bench was just they lied. It was proven they lied. They lied some more. They proved they lied some more. I mean, it was insane.
As far as her rebuttal to anything Johnny's testimony, witnesses said is, they're just lying. Like the guy who owns. You can go and look up who owned the trailer park thing, and so you can look him up.
Yep.
But I don't know who that was.
I don't know that guy. There was the whole liar pants on fire defense is what they were trying for.
Well,
he said, she said.
The guy who in the trailer park was a peon to her. She's known for not liking anybody who can't do things for her.
Yeah.
So she didn't remember him. That I think she was actually telling the truth about.
But that was the point. There was no, if some of this stuff happened that they're saying happened, you kind of remember that stuff. You might not see them all the time, but if there was abuse or some kind of craziness going on, you're going to remember who they are,
Yeah. No, and I still hold by what I said last week, that a lot of people are like, no, or a week before last, whatever, when I said it. And a lot of people are like, no. Do I believe Depp was 100% didn't touch her? No, I don't believe that. I'm sorry. I'm sure she pushed him to a point numerous times where he would push her back.
I think they had a toxic relationship, brought out the worst in each other, and I could see emotional abuse because of all the drug use, although she's been known to use drugs herself. And even though she admits she doesn't, but she admits she does 5 minutes later. But
and saying how much he uses, like completely exaggerating. Oh yeah, sure. If you would have taken that much, I'd have been dead seconds later.
Here's how I look at it.
Is like, no.
Yeah.
when it comes to emotional abuse, to me, I have a hard time with proper emotional abuse. To me, emotional abuse is somewhat of a two-way street, right? And what I mean by that is if you treat someone with respect and you say you stay straight and narrow to them and you don't say things, if something comes in your head that you shouldn't say to them, you hold it off and you just go cool off or whatever, but then they constantly put you down, that's emotional abuse. But if both parties are doing it, to me, that's two people being the same to each other. That's not abusive.
That's just a toxic relationship.
Yeah.
To me, it'd be like friends. If you've got a friend, if me and Pizza were hanging out and we had a friendship where we weren't physical at all, where it was just like, hey, what's up? Shake hands. How's it going? And I just out of the blue start punching them and stuff. That's abuse. But if our friendship is every time we see each other, hey, what's up, man? Hit each other in the shoulder, stuff like that. That's not abuse.
No.
That's how we are together. Right. And it could be toxic, could not be toxic. They had a verbal relationship that was negative verbally. You can tell by his text to her and how she responded to them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
and they just be like, oh, because he did drugs while she was with her, because he got drunk while he was with her, that's abuse. It's not abuse. He was doing it before. Everyone knew it. That would be like saying I married a military guy and they are not home all the time. I am abused because I didn't sign. Yeah, you did sign up for it.
Yeah.
Yeah. That'd be like saying because they're gone all the time. I'm. People have taken the fact that actions that have negative effects on them, they turn around and turn it into an abusive group. It's not always abusive. Some things can happen, can have a negative effect, and not be abuse.
Yeah.
That's just how it is.
But
to turn around and say, because it had a negative effect on me, it's considered abuse, to me is complete and totally wrong. It's intent that causes abuse. Intent leads to abuse. If it's not intended, to me, it's not abuse. Now, at the same time, there's a nitpicking there as far as what's intended. A guy turns around and hits a girl, or a girl hits a guy, and it's not a physical joking around thing. It's straight up
assault. That's assault. That's flat out assault.
I didn't mean to hit you. Sorry, you did mean to hit them. You just didn't. You feel bad for it now.
Right.
That's abuse. But what I mean by intent is if you say something in a joking manner because you've got that kind of relationship with someone, but at that particular time they were having a bad day and they took it the wrong way, that's not abuse. You're continuing the norm in your relationship you have with them. They just happen to take it the wrong way at that time. You did not intend to insult them. You did not intend to offend them. You did not intend to abuse them.
That's a misunderstanding.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. And people now are turning all that into abuse. If you contradict someone now, you're being aggressive. If you go in the kitchen and slam a cabinet because you're mad, according to Rottenborn, that's mental abuse to whoever's in that kitchen with you because you slammed that cabinet in front of them.
And I'm abusing everybody because when I can't find something in the kitchen, I start slamming stuff around like, if people just put stuff where I leave it.
And they turn around and they go, oh, well, there's different ways to. when I grew up, I had anger issues at times, and I would go talk to a counselor or something. You know what the counselor would tell me? Take yourself away from the situation. If you're having an issue, punch a pillow. Yell when you're not around anybody. Just get away from the situation and just let it out. Release that energy.
And Johnny Depp tried to do that.
If someone sees it, you're abusing them.
Yeah.
Well, luckily they lost, so it doesn't matter. It shows that we're not a complete lost cause.
Yeah. Fly the justice for Johnny banner all week now, All righty.
See, for me, it's not a justice for Johnny. For me, it's justice for all who have been wrongly accused by their abuser.
I think this is going to set a big precedent, too, on what starts coming to trial and what they start listening to now.
The next big trial that's going to be very similar to this and happens to be Johnny Depp's best friend is the Marilyn Manson trial. That is something to seriously check into, because there were several people that flat out said they came to me and told me to write these things down. And the complaints are using some of the same wording. It's crazy, but there's so much proof against that Marilyn Manson might have had a agreed upon violence, shades of gray kind of intimacy, let's just say, but it was agreed upon beforehand, and he was never there's you have to watch Colonel Kurtz.
That is
and
why
she's been going she's been going on it for a year, and she's talking to people who know him very well. Some of the people that were asked to throw their lot in with them to make some money. Like, he's even being accused of wanting to molest a child, a baby, by Evan Rachel, his ex-fiance, the actress. And even her ex-husband is saying, Marilyn Manson, I am not in fear of my child being around him, the father of the child. Like, there's so much. She's got hours and hours and hours to dispute the fact that he ever did anything that was not violent or was not discussed beforehand and agreed upon because they were both into it.
I'd love to see that in court of time. No, I'm sorry, Crashly. I'd say the one thing that's scarier than seeing Marilyn Manson all decked out for his concert thing is to seeing Marilyn Manson not all decked out for his concert things.
I've been to 2 of his concerts. I was at his first Antichrist Superstar concert. Wasn't that great? The last one of that was amazing. It started and ended in Philadelphia. Because he walks on stilts on stage, on those 10-foot circus stilts. He and the rest of the band put on a show. And if you hear him talking, he is extremely intelligent.
That was the only... I've never been to his concert. I've heard it. Obviously, I've heard his music on the radio and stuff, but that's where I listen. I listen to his interviews and things, and he's definitely a very articulate, intelligent man. So,
he was a nerd in high school. Yeah. He was a nerd. He went his own persona.
I'm just glad. You know what? Sometimes I think I'm glad I never made it famous in Hollywood, because those people are nuts, man. I'm happy being my little guy here,
But you're still nuts. All right.
Yeah, I'm still nuts, but all right, let's move on.
Nerd stuff.
Yeah.
Hollywood. Let's go ahead and segue to talk about nuts. 3 episodes of Obi-Wan Kenobi in less than a week, man.
Yeah. I was a little disappointed.
3 episodes in less than a week.
The first and second episode, okay. It kind of shows him high. I was a little upset with the 3rd episode, although me and Robbie were hopping up and down when we saw Darth Vader.
With me, it felt too short.
Not that it was too short. It's like Obi-Wan didn't have any power anymore. I mean, I know he's been sitting quiet for 10 years, but
the first 2 episodes showed that he was not in tune with his powers as much. He was rusty.
Yeah, I can see that.
That is one things that I would say the show does have me a little on, is they went full out sequel trilogy Luke with Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
Instead of going more training you have, Obi-Wan. Go to Tatooine. Go meet Qui-Gon. Train. Get ready for when Luke's. You would think he'd be training and being ready for when Luke's old enough.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
But no, he full out goes sequel trilogy Luke and goes, "I'm done. The Jedi are over."
Yeah.
Jedi even comes up needing help. Nah, get out of here. Which you're gonna live with that one, Obi-Wan. You just sent him to his death.
And they went full on with Darth Vader too. The power they showed him having.
Mm-hmm.
And they made him evil as hell too. When he was dragging people up the street with the Force, snapping people's necks, man. I was here it comes.
They made him a villain.
Yeah, they did. There was no controversy in that, man. They just went. He's on this side of the scale now, man. There was.
Oh yeah, and when found, okay, spoilers, guys. We're gonna go hardcore spoilers in this. Sorry, didn't have a spoiler alert earlier, but
yeah,
the whole situation so far, as far as Obi-Wan rescuing Leia. At first, I was weary of it because I'm like, when she sends her message to Obi-Wan, she's all like, "You worked with my father," blah blah blah. Why does she have to explain that? But then the more I watched it, as the episodes played out, and I finished episodes 1 and 2.
Yeah.
I just went back and I was like, you know what? I want to see exactly what she says. I went back and watched that message. And just after watching episodes 1 and 2, I jump in and I watch that message where she stops and goes, "Help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi. You're my only hope."
Yeah.
I got goosebumps from that because I'm like, okay, who cares? She probably just reminded this old guy. He's old. He probably forgot something. Last time I saw him, I was 10 years old type thing.
Yeah.
But she straight up, it made that quote personal.
Yeah.
Not just, "Oh, help me, Mr. Obi-Wan Kenobi, you're my own." No, it was straight up,
yeah,
"Dude, help me." And I was just like, yeah. And it's so much better than that. Like I said, there are a couple things. Everybody's throwing a fit about the whole parkour scene. I'm sorry, I thought it was cool to watch a Jedi run on. You're a Jedi. You're good at running.
Yeah.
If there's rooftops, you got to get from building to building. I'm sorry, parkour is what you do. We can't help it that a bunch of kids went out and started doing it and doing videos on it going, "Parkour, parkour."
Yeah.
And it made you go, "Ugh, parkour," when it's a cool thing to see and happen. You just cringe because you feel like you should. I'm sorry.
My favorite part of that whole episode was you finally got to see his castle on Mustafar and coming in, and I was like, "Oh, there he is," And at least they got James Earl Jones to still do the voice, and Aiden Christensen is still Darth Vader.
There's a technical blooper in that Mustafar scene, though.
What's that?
It's just a technical blooper, but they show his arm getting put on, his right arm.
Yeah.
Getting put on. Then they cut to a couple other scenes. Then they cut to a scene where they're putting on the back plate, and they're both just stumps. He doesn't have his arms on yet.
Oh, okay.
Just a technical blooper. It's nothing.
Nothing.
When they edited it, they didn't think about it. But then that leads me to what I was saying. The one thing that the one thing that I did not like about episode 3 is the ending.
It just seems like it's it, and that's it.
Well, I'm okay with the and that's it because they're going along the lines of how Picard was and how a lot of these other ones where with Mandalorian it was episodic somewhat.
Yeah.
Each episode had its thing. With Book of Boba Fett, it was up and down on it.
Yeah.
Obi-Wan is basically a long movie with weekly breaks in it.
I think so.
But the thing I wasn't a fan of was the traitor. I'll say traitor. The good guy. The girl who was part of the Imperial soldier.
Yeah.
That is helping Jedi. She takes Leia through the tunnel to go meet the person to get her off world.
Yeah.
You would think the smartest way, and what she would be doing, is taking Leia to the straightest path to this person. They are going down that tunnel quite a ways.
Yeah.
Now you would also assume, because when you saw the tunnel, there were different avenues, so you would assume there are different branches throughout the tunnel.
Yeah.
Okay. So it would make sense that when she leaves Leia, she goes out another branch and goes to find Obi-Wan. But while they're going, and she's leaving to go out another branch, then Third Sister comes in. Leia's running the tunnel, we're assuming the quickest route to get to this ship.
Yeah.
Third Sister comes in, discovers the tunnel, and somehow beats Leia to the other side of that one tunnel.
That's what I was thinking. Either she came in, she went in a different building, or that's what me and Robbie were talking about. The whole thing.
Same building. She moved the stack. She pulled the lever. She saw the Jedi names. She pushed the button on the wall. It opened up. There were the tunnels. She walked into the tunnel. Yeah. How did she get to the other side of the tunnel? Obviously, there were break-offs. So how did she know which spot to be?
Which way to go, yeah.
And how did she get past Leia without Leia seeing her?
That's what we were talking. Me and Robbie and I were talking about that. And then the whole fight with Obi-Wan at the end, where he dragged him through the fire. At first, he put the fire out by himself. Then she lights another fire, and he just lets it burn. He can't get through it. And then he let Obi-Wan escape, pretty much, because he could have put the fire out again. You know, it was kind of a little, why not do what you just did 2 seconds ago and put the fire out?
Vader's playing a cat and mouse game with Obi-Wan.
That's what we were talking about. Yeah, he let him go.
That's apparent. He's playing a cat and mouse game with Obi-Wan.
Yeah, and that was I was loving it. I just Darth Vader was right there, man.
And here's one thing that I think they're going to play upon. My thoughts are they're going to play upon this situation where it goes, he did let me go. Whether it will be Obi-Wan had many times he could have killed me and he didn't. Or not Obi-Wan. Vader had many times he could have killed me that he didn't. And it's going to cause Obi-Wan to go, he can't kill me. Something inside of him is keeping him from killing me, so he must have good in there. And Obi-Wan's going to try to turn Vader good. And we're going to see Vader shift a little bit. We're going to see him waver. We're going to see him think, yeah, but then snap right back to fight Obi-Wan. But that's going to make him weak enough that Obi-Wan can defeat him, but not completely. But Obi-Wan can beat him enough to do their final escape.
Okay.
To where at that point, Obi-Wan wants, and it would basically, because they're trying to tie up some loose ends. And some of the loose ends is Vader going, last we met, I was the apprentice, but now I am the master type thing. And so on. And then the other one where I once thought the same as you did, Luke. I thought there was good in him, but he goes, your Obi-Wan once thought there was the same as you, where he could turn me back. And it's like, they're going to play on that, I believe.
Yeah, there's a lot of ways they could go with it until technically episode 4, but we'll have to see how that goes.
But what I see this being right now is it's Obi-Wan's redemption arc in a sense. He lost his way, he gave up basically, and he got pulled back into the mix, and he's working his way up. He's going to come back, and then he's going to train hardcore on how what needs to happen.
Because Vader just threw him around like a little doll, man. He just
Well, and again, I had no problem with that.
I didn't either. I liked it.
Well, and at the same time, even in Obi-Wan, even at the battle on Mustafar at the end of Revenge of the Sith, Vader's more powerful than he was there. Keep in mind, Vader has been training in the dark side of the Force for 10 years.
Yeah.
So he is much more powerful than he was on Mustafar.
Oh, yeah.
And Obi-Wan hasn't been training at all. But Obi-Wan's Vader could probably have beat Obi-Wan on Mustafar.
Probably.
It is what it is. I mean, that's what it boils down to. Where Obi-Wan was able to defeat Anakin on Mustafar was because Anakin was still he was trained, but his power was raw. He wasn't fine-tuned. Now we've got 10 years of Vader being fine-tuned by the Emperor, fine-tuned in his training.
Yeah.
And he has to be that fine-tuned because he's got all these Inquisitors working below him. He's got to have a reason that they fear him. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But
I think it's going to get better. Oh, it's got to get better. But I mean, there's a lot more to it. I hope it's just not 10 episodes of rescuing Leia, though. I hope there's a lot more to it.
I don't think it's going to be, but then again, it might.
They'll lose me on that, but
I don't think it's going to be. I'm hoping it's not 10 episodes of rescuing Leia. But at the same time, all right. I don't have anything to drink right now, so
yeah. I make sure I keep mine right close by there.
I had it, but I drank it all. It might be, which I'm
all
fine.
Right, let's wander into Strange New Worlds. What do you think?
I really dug this last episode. I'm so happy we've got episodic Trek.
I know.
We can actually sit down, watch a storyline from beginning to end, full of hijinks and funniness, and
and that was funny too. They used that word quite a bit too. It feels like hijinks. I was loving it. I don't know. If you were like me, when you saw Pike in the green wraparound uniform,
yeah,
I got a little excited on that one. I'm like, ah!
You know what excited me more though?
What's that?
The soundtrack to Spock's Dream.
Oh yeah, it was all the old music.
Classic, the original battle music, and I'm like, oh, this is awesome.
The only thing I could see people having a problem with is that they still had sex. Like, Vulcans are supposed to do Ponfar every 7 years. That's it. There was no in between. Hanky-pankiness anywhere else.
Here's the thing. This is where I think we can get a timeline, because I believe this is their Ponfar type time.
But that's the other thing too. He said
segment.
Well, he said in the original series too that he hadn't seen T'Pring since they were children. When they showed her picture on the view screen, it was a little girl, and Spock said, "We haven't seen each other since we were children." And now Strange New Worlds kind of blows that out with,
It's not the first time.
I'm still enjoying the hell out of it. But
it's not the first time Trek has changed little tiny things like that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still liking it, and from what I saw today with Nurse Chapel, it looked like she's like a little hound dog. That was cool, but it looked like
looks like they're trying to put her and the Ortega together.
Yeah, it looked like that was going to happen. Ortega
got that little love triangle there where Nurse Chapel obviously has a thing for Spock,
right?
And Ortega obviously has a thing for Chapel.
I thought it was pretty good when she smacked him in the head, and he's like, "I'm not familiar with that," But it was pretty good. I thought it was that's what I like with number one and on or whatever, trying to do the Enterprise bingo just to break the rules, but they don't do that kind of thing, and it was pretty cool.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed. I enjoyed beginning to end storytelling. With when
the episode's done, that arc is done.
Yeah, I liked the fact that we're back to. We're not back to exploration yet. I think right now I was trying to figure that out too. In the last few episodes I watched, I'm sitting there going, "Okay, obviously Pike was brought back to the Enterprise to save number one,
right?"
But why are they continuing? Like, it was I'm not doing it. Oh no, come back! You got to go save her. But then I'm seeing a trend here. I think this is more of a diplomatic show.
Well, they kind of brought him back early to save number one. He was supposed to go back in a couple weeks anyway, or decide what he was going to do.
Decide whether he was going to or not. But the question, I'm sitting there going, are they making an exploration or whatever? And it's becoming more of a diplomatic. You had the rescue with number one, but the last 3 episodes have been a diplomatic style situation. They were going to the planet where the people, I can't remember, the same race that number one is.
Yeah, there wasn't really anything with them except they're like kind of ghosts now. They're stuck in the storm.
They were going there. They were going there to negotiate because they see how they were doing because they wanted to join Starfleet.
Well, they knew it was just an abandoned outpost. They were just looking at the more records to find out what happened. They were just different planets with them on it to see how it was going to go.
Yeah. And so on. So, I mean, I'm just seeing more of a diplomatic style.
Yeah.
Almost every episode since has been some sort of diplomatic mission.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, the Gorn were in the last one, and that was just a little, fighting cat and a mouse with the Gorn and everything. So that was pretty cool.
Submarine show. It was awesome.
Yeah. It was awesome.
Straight up Hunt for Red October style.
Oh, yeah. I was loving it. They even, as a matter of fact, they even did that on Orville tonight when I finally watched the new Orville, New Horizons or whatever. They did a submarine type move, but yeah, they did. They're doing so much stuff from the old, like the original series on this show, and I'm loving it. Just right down to the wraparound green uniforms and stuff like that.
Now, okay, you can help me out with this because it threw me for a little bit of a loop. I was under the impression that the Beta Quadrant was not fully discovered in the
No,
original.
Beta, Alpha and Beta are fine. That's where Klingons, Romulans, Tholians, all that stuff are Alpha and Beta. But by the time you get to the end of the Beta Quadrant, you get into the Delta Quadrant, it takes a long time.
And that was my mistake. I thought that the Beta Quadrant still had areas to discover. Like I didn't realize
I think it was just some of the Beta Quadrant was just far. When they're saying how long it takes to get somewhere back then, but probably in Kirk's time it wasn't.
And that was the thing that was just confusing me because when he goes, "Oh, this trade route's the quickest way to get to the end of the Beta Quadrant," I'm like, "To get to the end of the Beta Quadrant? What?" Yeah. I thought the whole thing was Romulan space was at the beginning of the Beta Quadrant, and they couldn't discover the rest of it because Romulan space was kind of blocking.
Well, it kind of goes. It's kind of like a big circle, Alpha, Beta, Delta. Yeah. So it's just the way it is.
And I get that. It's a pie with 4 pieces.
Yeah.
I completely get that. But
and then you have the wormholes and the different ways back and forth to it and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I had a blast watching it. I'm just sitting there watching it and I'm bouncing up and down watching it, loving it, and that was great. I'm in sci-fi heaven this time of year with all this stuff out.
Which leads me to ask, man, Top Gun.
Oh, I was like a little kid at Christmas with that stuff. Robbie got me, him and Anna went and saw it. He got me tickets for my early Father's Day because it was coming out. We were there opening day. It started out almost exactly as the first one did. You heard the Kenny Loggins music come on, the slow lead in, the carrier, and then the fighters, and oh my God, I was dying.
Lynn Diamond Painting, welcome. Yeah, Strange New Worlds is awesome. Sorry, Pete, I didn't mean that.
That's all right. I said, hey, Lynn. And it was definitely worth the 35-year wait. I'll say that. I was so excited and hyped watching it. Anna and Robbie were saying something in the beginning when Tom Cruise is given, sometimes they have him come in, or like the actor will come in. Oh, it took forever to do this movie, and we did it just for you. And we wanted it to be right. And they're talking, and I'm like, hey, shut up. Tom Cruise is a national treasure. Oh, it was great.
Oh man, one thing that you don't have to give spoilers, but I'm just curious as to how much it would be, how much of the storyline derives from it. Is it a subplot or is it part of the main plot? Goose's son's hatred for Tom Cruise's character.
It was like through the plot of the show. It was definitely
it was part of the main plot.
Right. It was. That's how they finally got through it. That was like most of the movie. When you saw Rooster coming in, there was the whole big tension thing, and you're wondering what's going on. Then they explained why, and then they explained what happened. Then it was resolved, and they worked it through. It was like basically, the plot of the movie was training the pilots to get to this one mission at the end, but it was definitely in there as like out in the open as to why. Apparently Maverick pulled Rooster's papers for the Academy. So it took him 4 more years.
Rooster is Goose's
son. Goose's son,
okay.
yeah.
Okay.
And but he pulled his academy papers away, so he couldn't go in right away. He had to wait 4 more years. And it turns out why he did it. Why didn't you tell him? And then there was that, and then they worked it out. It came out pretty. It was just.
Is Meg Ryan in it?
Huh?
Is Meg Ryan in it?
No, apparently she didn't want to be in it, or for whatever reason. But they said, when she died, this happened.
Oh, so they killed her character off.
Yeah, they killed her character off. But if that guy could not look any more like Goose, it was you could tell that was Goose's son, right down to when he walked into the bar in the beginning with the Hawaiian shirt, the T-shirt, the glasses, and the jeans, and sat at the piano and started playing Great Balls of Fire.
They actually do that. That's awesome.
I was dying.
So okay,
Maverick wasn't in on that, but the other pilots were. And I think one of the pilots, I believe, Bob, his call sign is Bob. And they joke around that it means baby on board for his call sign, but it's Tim Robbins' son who played Merlin in the original movie.
Okay.
So I think they got a few. They had Val Kilmer in the movie. He was in it.
How did he do?
It was great. It was a small.
Did he have a lot of speaking lines, or was it?
He started out like he had throat. They said how he had throat cancer, so he's typing a little bit so he can read it on the computer. But at the end of the scene thing where
they gave his character throat cancer too.
Yeah. Okay. At the end of the scene, he actually walks up to Tom Cruise and he starts talking. You could tell his voice doesn't work right. He says 2 or 3 lines in his real voice. And then, it was awesome. It was awesome. Shouldn't his name have been Gosling? That's fun. I don't know about that, but Rooster worked. I know Rooster worked for that.
Gosling would have been hilarious because look at all the Ryan Gosling jokes they could have thrown in that movie.
Oh my God. They had Tom Cruise's career kind of stalled out and he was still a captain after all that time. But Val Kilmer's character was like a 4-star admiral, Pacific Fleet commander and all that stuff. And he was looking out for Maverick the whole time. But I mean, they did have the part, I won't give the spoiler about with Val Kilmer's character, but the whole movie was just up and down, up and down, up and down.
Okay. I want to see it, but that's one of those I can wait to stream.
Oh, I seeing it on the big screen like I did with all the plane and the fighter scenes and oh my God. They made Maverick.
That's the Navy side of you coming out.
I remember the first movie. When it came out in 86, I was 18, 19 years old. I saw it when I was 18. Fresh in the Navy, me and all my Navy buddies lined up watching a movie. And I was on an aircraft carrier with F-14s, even though I was medical still, But it was just the beginning of the thing, they show him as a test pilot for the new fastest plane or whatever. And he had to get it, they were trying to get to Mach 9. And he said, well, the contract was for 9, but eventually they wanted to get to 10. So Maverick is zoom, he gets the plane Mach 10. Now apparently he's the fastest man alive now. And then with the dogfighting at the end, he's actually shot down 5 enemy planes now. So he's now an ace. The fastest man alive now, he's an ace. So.
Good spoilers.
Well, yeah. Well, it's not really that big of a spoiler, but I will say one thing, if nobody wants to know, the final scene, the end of the movie, the plane's flying to fight in and doing the end of the movie in, is an old F-14 they stole from the enemy hangar. So and Rooster's like, this thing should be in a museum. It's literally an old F-14 they were flying. And they're showing these 5th generation fighters coming Raptors. I think they were the F-32 Raptors. And then here he comes with a little friggin' and a big F-14, but still. And the on the plane, the Navy, I think, still uses the F-A-18 Hornets, just a new version of them, but still. Oh, I was all goosebumpy through the whole thing.
There you go. Yeah, man.
If anybody's a Top Gun fan, especially at my age, Although my kids were busting on me because it was definitely a demographic in that movie theater. It was all 50-something-year-old white guys and their families watching this movie.
Now we just need the Days of Thunder sequel.
I liked that one too, but Top Gun was I used to say my favorite movie of the 80s was Top Gun and The Lost Boys. I loved The Lost Boys, but they screwed the pooch with those sequels on that one. I
enjoyed all those sequels.
I liked them, but they weren't
they
weren't up here with like Lost Boys was here. The sequels were like
Lost. See, the problem is though, Pizza. Lost Boys is lightning in a bottle. There are movies in the 80s. The 80s brought us so many bottles full of lightning. You could only have one Goonies. We want sequels to the Goonies.
No, you can't do a sequel to
Goonies. No, you can have sequels. I want
to see, but it's not going to work.
You're not going to get that lightning in a bottle.
Right.
Monster Squad. You're not going to get that lightning in a bottle.
You know, I've never seen that.
Oh, you're missing out.
It's streaming. I should watch it. I've never seen that one.
Gremlins. You know, Lost Boys. Those movies are they're when you get sequels, they're not going to be the same because you can't be the same. It was what they were at the time that made you love them.
I think a lot of it, you might want to be here for a minute though. I think a lot of it too was like there were a lot of movies like even The Breakfast Club, 16 Candles. I think a sequel would ruin what that was to begin with. Certain movies you should not make a sequel to. Like, I even thought, I liked The Godfather 2 and 3, but I think they could have left it at 1 and just left it like that.
And what it boils down to is it's not so much needs a sequel or shouldn't have it. It just, it stands alone on its own so much. It's like Jurassic Park. Jurassic Park stands alone on its own. You don't have to want to watch 2, 3, World 2, or World 3. You don't have to watch them. You don't have to like them. You don't have to whatever. You know, you can watch and love Jurassic Park and hate the sequels all you want, and other people can enjoy it. That's the beauty. That's the thing I love about sequels and prequels and all this other stuff is so many people are like, oh, they ruined it by making that. They didn't ruin it. They did not ruin the movie you liked. They just came out with another movie you didn't like.
Right.
I enjoyed the sequels to Lost Boys because I enjoyed the evolution of Frog's character. I enjoyed where he went through. You know, like you're obviously not going to have Corey Haim's character anymore because sadly he passed.
Yeah, he was at the end. He was at the end of the one sequel.
Well, he was having his drug issues and everything.
Yeah.
But to bring him in any further, it's just you're not going to have it. But to see that Frog continued what he was doing, you know, because you got to think about it in that sense. If you are thrown into I guess this is how I look at it. If you're thrown into a vampire hunter scenario when you're like 12, 13 years old, where you're hunting vampires that are trying to kill you, do you ever really grow up?
Nah.
Or are you going to be stuck in that mentality and any type of growing up you do is going to be more on the cynical side? You see what I'm saying? And it could be done better. Don't get me wrong. They where they lacked is they didn't have the funding. It was all Corey Feldman. It was all his project because no one else wanted to do it. If they would have actually given him the proper funding, allowed him to have proper producers and a proper script, it could have been so much better, and it would have. But for what he had and what we got, I'm okay.
I mean, I liked them. I watched them. They were okay, but I'm still trying to compare them to the original. I didn't watch them from the film school thing like I know you do. I know you get right into that. I watched it as okay, this is part of my growing up. There's the Lost Boys. Goonies I watched. It wasn't one of my favorites. And I hope, Lynn, I didn't give you too many spoilers for Maverick. But, yeah, I mean, when you watch The Breakfast Club and I watched 16 Candles and even, Commando, I still like Commando, even though it was the cheesiest freaking movie back in the day.
Commando was awesome.
I love it. I know, I love it. But The Lost Boys was the Lost Boys, That's always going to be one of my favorites.
Yeah.
And I mean, a lot of 80s movies growing up. That's what we did. Like when we were, because I was in the Navy when I was 17. I went right out of high school, graduated in June, left for boot camp in August, And me and my buddies, we didn't really drink. We couldn't drink. We were all under 21. So we were at the movies every weekend or when we were on our off time. Like when Ninja Turtles came out, the original Ninja Turtle movies. Awesome. We were loving them, All those movies.
Goonies was early 80s.
Yeah. My dad used to run around. He loved Goonies because I remember my dad would come into a room or a family gathering or something, and he'd be like, "Hey, you guys!"
I think with Goonies, what it boils down to, and some people may have had it, some people don't. What resonated with me with Goonies was the modern day treasure hunt. Like when I was a kid, even before I ever watched Goonies, I always had that fantasy of, oh man, could I go out in the yard and with a shovel and like find treasure? Or ooh, here's an old attic. Oh, I wonder if there's a treasure map in here type thing. Like that was always in the back of my mind. Then when I watched Goonies, I'm like, oh my God, these kids actually did it. And they get to fight bad guys while doing it. This is awesome. It's like they're fighting modern day pirates while looking for treasure. I effing loved it. It was great. And it was the other part about it too is there was so many different kids, and so it was just variety. It was any kid. You had the nerds, you had the cool kids, you had, and it had both aspects. You had the aspect of the teen side of it, you had the aspect of the child side of it, and you had the aspect of the adult side of it. Yeah. So it just for me, it was Goonies is one of the only reasons I went and watched Harry Potter.
Really?
Yeah, I was not interested in Harry Potter at all. Like I would talk to people like, oh, they're making a Harry Potter movie. I'm like, I never read the book, not interested in it.
Yeah.
Everybody who ever talked to me about the book, they loved the book, was about 5 to 6 years younger than me. And when you're, 18, 19 years old, and a, 14-year-old or 17, 18, and a junior high kid or, an elementary kid on the bus or whatever, sitting there going, oh man, Harry Potter's awesome. You're like, it's a kid's book. I don't,
I wasn't really interested in seeing it when it first came out.
I wasn't either.
I took Amber.
Yeah, I was telling everybody, I'm like, yeah, I'm not interested in watching Harry Potter. And then they actually go, because they're talking, oh, my Harry Potter movie. I'm like, yeah, I'm not worried about that. And then they turn around and go, oh, Harry Potter just signed on director Chris Columbus.
Now you gotta
watch it. The guy who wrote freaking Goonies and directed Home Alone.
Yep. Home Alone's another one I loved.
Hello, Queen in the house.
Oh, there she is.
We've missed you, Hello, Queen. We have missed you.
Yes, you have definitely been missed. Yeah, Home Alone, the first one, I loved it. The second one, I think, pushed it. And then after that, I just wasn't really interested anymore. The first one, I love. And
the newest one, I enjoyed the callbacks to it, but that was about it.
I didn't, like when with Harry Potter, like I said, my daughter Amber wanted to see it. So I was like, all right, I'll take her, And I enjoyed it. I really did. And we did stuff like with all the stuff that came out with it, I liked. Because she was, I think, probably 7, 8 years old when it came out.
Yeah, that's when she had me reading the books.
And I had, I sent away on eBay, this guy did Hogwarts letters. So I had him, you could address it to her where her room was and all. And I had Hogwarts letters sent to her. And I think, as a matter of fact, this isn't even all of them. Hold on.
Yeah, pulling out the Harry Potter wands.
Oh, let's see. We got Draco Malfoy. We got Hermione's. This one's Ginny Weasley. Bellatrix Lestrange. This one's Neville Longbottoms. Luna Lovegood. We have McGonagall, Snape's, Dumbledore's. I got like another 12, 13 of them in the other room there. We got, which one? Figures. Anna broke her Ron Weasley wand, but hey, it was broken in the movie.
No, Ron Weasley broke his own wand.
Yeah. And I just enjoy watching it. Like,
yeah,
I still enjoy Pirates of the Caribbean. I always will. I even like the last one.
And yeah, like Lynn, I loved Lord of the Rings. I will say this. I read The Lord of the Rings before I read The Hobbit. The Hobbit put me to sleep numerous times trying to read it. Lord of the Rings is one of the few books, trilogy, but I mean a handful of books. It's one of the few that I actually read beginning to end, all of them, and enjoyed them. And when the movies came out, I nitpicked a little bit. I did. I really enjoyed the movies. But one thing I really had a problem with when the Lord of the Rings movies came out was in Two Towers. When they are entering Rohan, and Gimli, Aragorn, and Legolas come up on the Riders of Rohan. And that whole thing takes into account, and I'm like, Aragorn, where's your sword?
Yeah.
Pull out a Isildur sword. Come on, do it. And it's not there, and then you find out, oh, it's being reforged at this. No, it's not. That's the only way he convinced the Riders of Rohan that they were not orc spies, is because they recognized Isildur's sword when Aragorn pulled it out. I was nitpicking it. I still go back and I love watching them. I made Crashly watch them, and it was straight up, you're sitting down and we're going to watch The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings, all three of The Hobbit, all three of Lord of the Rings, and no, not this little theatrical release stuff. No, extended edition all the way through.
Oh, God. You put her through that?
She enjoyed it.
I mean, I liked when they put with like the Fellowship of the Ring, with the Lord of the Rings, and they showed when they were in the tomb, and how it was some of the people from The Hobbit. Their graves were. Oh, I thought that was little extra detail put in there and things.
Well, it is. That's the thing. It was.
Yeah.
That was which I can't remember his name, but he was the older Hobbit. He was like the wise Hobbit throughout the wise dwarf throughout the Hobbit.
Yeah.
He was the main one, the one that wrote the journal that they were reading from.
Right.
I just can't remember his name.
I know. I haven't watched him in a while. I've been waiting, but
and the fact they still had those little things, I just really, really enjoyed it.
Well, Bilbo was in all of them.
Sure. Thank you, Harlequin. Harlequin knows it. She's like the nerd queen of all of us.
I mean, I like the character. I like Thorin's character, and I like how they sort of, once he got into the mountain again, they started to drive him a little crazy, and then he sucked it up. And
I really enjoyed it, and everybody's like, oh, they added this, they added that. Like, seriously, if they were going to make The Hobbit into a movie and go directly off the book, it would have been boring and full of song. I'm sorry to anyone who read The Hobbit.
I mean, if you're reading something, it's different because you can picture it and do it in your head. When you're watching it on a screen of someone else doing the story, you got to have something.
You've got to understand.
Your interest.
You can give the same story. You can have a 5-page story and give it to 5 different people, and all 5 people will interpret it differently.
Yeah, it's I like Val. I know Val always is a Piers Anthony nut, and I know there's some books of Piers Anthony she likes, but I had Anna waiting here for when we get into Stranger Things because that's her thing, and I started watching it again. I haven't seen a lot of them. Like, I started season 1 again, trying to watch it, and I start falling off around episode 3 and 4. She said, no, season 1, you got to just push through, and then it gets better, I'm
going to ask real quick, anyone in the live feed, are you caught up on Stranger Things? Because there are going to be all kinds of spoilers. If you're watching this on the replay, there are going to be all kinds of spoilers. Pause it, go catch up, and then come back.
I know, that's why I have Anna sitting here.
You made me wait.
Yeah, I got Anna here because I'm terrible when I don't see something. And I know we were watching season 4 the other day, and I'm like, "What's that? What's that? Who's he? What's going on?" You know. And she's like, you know,
Hollow Queen. You haven't seen season 4. I guess maybe we can just hold off on Stranger Things till
all
next
right.
week.
You can
Wait
go.
a minute. I don't know. Hollow Queen's like you. She don't mind spoilers.
Oh, she don't mind spoilers? I think we can go a little bit without spoilers for a while, but just the one big thing, the one whole big spoiler in that season was that big monster dude. I'm terrible with the character names.
I called that. I called Vecna. Yes, I did. You can ask Crashly. I straight up, when it started showing these scenes, and I go, that's him. And she's like, I'm like, that's him. I'm not trying to give spoiler type thing. I was like, that is this character. And then it goes on, and and then Vecna did something, and I went, he's Vecna. And then it gets on to it's going, and then Freddy Krueger has his scene, and I'm sitting there geeking out. I'm like, hell yeah. And she's like, how is that awesome? How's that funny? Because they're literally talking about people dying in weird, screwed up ways. I'm sitting here going, yes, ah! And she's like, what is your problem? I'm like, that's Robert Englund. That's Freddy freaking Krueger. It's awesome. And she's like,
my whole thing,
they killed the scene by having him in it, I guess.
The one thing they stuck me with it, I was watching season 1, and I like Barb. I think they killed Barb a little too early in the Upside Down. Yeah. And then, of course, season 4, they show her all dead and squishy and decayed and shit. I'm like, oh, yeah, sure, kick me while I'm down with Barb, man.
But I'm sitting there, but I was like, oh, it was literally within a few scenes, I went, that's him. I was like, wait a minute, that's it. And then it goes to the scene with Robert Englund, and I went, that's it.
Hello, Queen. Hashtag justice for Barb. I know, right? Yeah, we did. I noticed Val was telling Hollow Queen when we went to Philly Fan Expo last month. Anna got to meet David Tennant. We were talking about that already at the convention. And she drew a picture of him because she didn't want a stock photo. So she drew a picture of him, and he loved it. He signed it. And we met. She got to meet Jason Mewes, and he was awesome.
And Billy West.
Who?
Billy West.
Billy West? Wait, which he was the one from
Futurama.
Yeah, he was the guy from Futurama.
Fry.
From Winona Earp.
Yes, and I got Val Winona Earp's autograph, the girl from Winona Earp. She likes that one. And she's very different, obviously, than her character on the show. And you just, when you expect someone to be a little bit like that, and there she is all happy, and her son's there, like, she's got a 6-7-year-old son that she was hanging out at the booth with her. It was pretty cool.
I get that. So you made
your
daughter sitting there, and you're not going to let her say spoilers?
Who? Anna?
Yeah, you made Anna sitting there. You're not going to let her talk about the show? She was probably excited too.
Like, I can't
talk to my dad about this because he's not caught up. So I'm going to sit here and talk with other people.
Oh, here, come. You can come talk with.
I'm messing with you.
She just got a look on her face like a deer in the headlights. She was all,
no, don't put me there.
As soon as we said spoilers, she's over there like, oh, the cat wants to talk. He's up there. Look. Well, Anna had ice cream, so the cat's more stalking that than anything else. But
yeah, man.
Yeah,
no,
Stranger Things, I'm going to have to really catch up on with that.
Part 2 comes out in a month.
The Orville, I was really surprised about. With some 3 years waiting for that to come back with, we were talking with Seth MacFarlane.
Did it jump right back into the mix, or did it hurt? I mean, how's it feeling on it? What's the feel on it?
It's obviously it's right after the Kalon War from the last season.
Mm-hmm.
And they were just finishing up the refit of the Orville. And they reinstated Isaac onto the ship. And a lot of people were not happy about that, obviously, because his race just tried to kill everybody. So there was some stuff going back and forth. And spoilers for this, if anybody hasn't seen that. But he ended up, because one of the doctor's sons was still having nightmares about it, and he said, I'll never forgive you. I wish you were dead. So Isaac kind of did his last little thing and then killed himself with an EM pulse to the robot brain. They ended up bringing him back, figuring out how to bring him back, but it kind of brought, there's like some new crew members that hated him because, my friend was on this ship when they were killed from the Kalons. It's actually pretty, it's I won't say dark, but it's very, when you're watching it.
That doesn't sound like the Orville I left on.
It's not just stupid like fart jokes anymore. You know what I mean?
I get that.
There was actually it's called The New Horizons. It's not even called season 3 on Hulu. It just says Orville New Horizons. I think he's getting a little more. I know he was a Star Trek fan, and it was to give us something we didn't have.
Yeah, because we didn't have Trek, but it was also joking. And now I guess that niche is taken up by Lower Decks. So now what's he going to do?
Well, I think it might change later on. I don't know. I mean, I really don't know, but it was almost like, holy crap, this is compatible to Trek now. It was there was the social issue. It wasn't a bunch of dick and fart jokes. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I'll definitely jump back into it then because like I was saying earlier off the air, I was just
the show has definitely evolved.
I was getting I can only take so much slapstick, I guess.
Yeah.
Like, to me, that's all the slapstick's background. Like, if I'm tired and I need a show on, I want to show on because if I lay down, close my eyes, my head goes 5 million different directions and I can't sleep type thing. Like, I can be exhausted. The
show has definitely evolved. It has definitely evolved with the show.
I could put that on, or one thing I binged was Ghosts on CBS on Paramount Plus.
My mother watches that. I think Val does too. I watched a couple episodes. Val watches the British version. If you can hear her,
I watched a few episodes of the British one, but I had watched the whole first season of the American version, which is obviously really close because it's based on it. But oh man,
yeah,
that show had me busting up. But it's good. Oh. It's one of those that I don't have to pay attention to it.
Right.
And that's where I was at with the Orville, is I didn't have to, like, it could be playing and I'd catch the funniness, but it's, again, those kinds of shows, like with Lower Decks, I don't go, oh, a new episode, I need to watch it now. I go, oh, okay, I'll catch it when I catch it. But with shows like Strange New Worlds, Obi-Wan, Stranger Things, those I'm like, come on, I gotta get my fix.
When Lower Decks is on, I watch it and I love it. I giggle through the whole thing, but it's not like I can watch it the next day or a couple days later, something like that. But with Strange New Worlds, I was there today. I'm like, all right, move. I'm kicking kids off the PlayStation and everything, and I'm watching it. But to answer Halloween, I'm a little nervous about the new Hocus Pocus. I know that's supposed to come out this fall. I'm thinking obviously probably around Halloween time. I'm nervous about it. I'll say that. I mean, I love Hocus Pocus is my go-to Halloween movie, one of them, stuff like that. And I love Bette Midler. I love the original movie. I mean, heck, our cat's name is Binks. So,
Billy autograph.
Oh yeah, that's the other one at that convention you were supposed to come up for. Billy Butcherson, Doug Jones was there.
Jones, Sarek.
Yeah. Saru. Yeah. And he was there, and I was telling him about how, I love Saru. And we were talking about Pan's Labyrinth and even Legion when he was the crazy ice cream man and all that. And I said, well, my daughter isn't really a Star Trek fan. She was more of a Billy Butcherson fan from Hocus Pocus. And he was all excited. He's like, and he called his assistant. He's like, Kevin, come here. He's like, go print me off a picture of Billy Butcherson right now. Hurry up. This man's daughter needs an autograph. So he went and got a picture, printed it off of Billy Butcherson, and he autographed it for Anna. So I still have your William Shatner autograph here with the move and everything. I have to get that out to you. I have the box I get to send that I'm trying to send to you.
You take your time. we know this.
Yeah.
We're not worried on either end. You take your time.
Yeah.
You know, we're getting settled and stuff. But yeah, man, I just.
And well, the box I keep getting for it, the box I have for you keeps getting bigger because I keep finding stuff while we're out. I'm like, Kerwin is like that. That's some Kerwin, Kerwin would go for.
I've done the same thing, man. Literally, Ashley be going through, what's this? I got that for pizza.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. A Halloween, yeah. It's September. I thought it would have been like more towards Halloween, but yeah, Doug Jones is the man.
Think about it. September, October's right after. If it comes out towards the end of September, gives it a 4-week running to be going up to Halloween. You don't bring haunted houses out on Halloween. You bring haunted houses out the last weekend of September.
Yeah.
You open them up. People go to them every week for a while.
All I know is by that time of year, I'm starting to get ready for my other thing. That's November, December.
Yeah. But no, I want to see a new Hocus, or I want to see what they do with it. Again, it goes right back to Hocus Pocus doesn't need a sequel, but it's fun to have a sequel.
Yeah.
It's not going to be the lightning in a bottle that Hocus Pocus was.
Well, when Hocus Pocus first came out, it didn't do well at all. It was one of those cult late bloomer things when it gained popularity.
That's how a lot of movies like that were. It's the same thing with Boondock Saints. Boondock Saints became a cult classic. Wasn't huge when it came out, but then became awesome. And the sequel, I love the sequel. A lot of people are like, oh, I didn't like the sequel. Then don't like the sequel.
Yeah, then don't like it. Don't watch it.
I guarantee there is not one TV show out there that someone absolutely loves every single episode of.
Oh, definitely. Even
there's gonna be an episode that you're like, read a book. There's gonna be a chapter that you're not a fan of. Read a series of books. There's gonna be one book in that series that you're gonna be like, Same thing with movies. Not every movie has to be the best.
Every Criminal Minds episode.
Oh, Anna's being a nerd. She's like, well, I actually love every Criminal Minds episode. Well, I mean, come on.
No, genuinely.
But I mean, even with Star Trek, we had Voyager. What are you going to do? We had the first season of Discovery. I mean, and I'm still wearing my disco shirt, But
you're gonna turn around and be like, oh, somebody turn around and be like, no, every episode of Star Trek's awesome. Tulix, really? Tulix?
Really?
Tulix?
I mean, I was joking around because I have my disco shirt that I wear. A few weeks ago, when we first got in the house, I had a coupon and saw an ad. I have one that says Ritos now for Lower Decks. It's blue, says Ritos for Cerritos. I have a good old time with that. Think Shawshank. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, some movies start off and like Halloween, it's a slow burn. Shawshank, I mean, The Green Mile, things like that. But, yeah. It's
like you said, you'd never seen Monster Squad.
Yeah, I've never seen that yet.
It was not a hit when it came out. But, oh, my God, it is, if you like 80s, that style, like, Gremlins, Goonies, that idea, it's just awesome. It's, I don't remember watching it in the 80s. I don't remember seeing it, or it would have been my favorite movie. It wasn't until like 15 years later. It wasn't until like the early aughts that somebody's like, hey, have you ever seen Monster Squad? And I'm like, no. And they're like, here, borrow it. And I'm like, watching it. And I'm like, oh my God, this is one of my new favorite movies.
I just read an article about that recently, as a matter of fact. And they were saying that Universal Studios gave them a hard time. So they couldn't call the creature from the Black Lagoon. They had to call him like the fin monster or something like that, or scale monster. They had to change the names of a couple of the monsters. Like the Frankenstein's monster didn't have bolts in his neck. They were up in his head or something like that.
Yeah, there were some different changes to it.
Yeah, because Universal Studios gave them a hard time about it.
But still, a group of kids that call themselves the Monster Squad because they're monster hunters in a world where monsters don't really exist, but then they find out they do exist and they're having to hunt the dang things. It's great.
I got to check it out.
There's... you watch it, you're gonna bust up laughing, and I'll go ahead and tell you what the line is, because you can say it, you can hear it. When you still see it, it's hilarious. Wolfman's got nards.
I remember hearing someone say that. Someone had that on it was a talk show or an interview show or something, but they played that. I've heard that somewhere.
It's the whole thing. It's hilarious. Kylo Queen was typing it when I said it.
Yeah.
He knew, it's kick him in the nards. Wolfman don't have nards. Kick him in the nards. Arr! Wolfman's got nards.
I've been watching, like, sometimes when I'm at work, if I'm slow, I'll put on the laptop and the streaming and stuff like that. And I've been watching some of the not even D horror movies. I think the ones that the guys made in their garage for $20. They have that one girl. One guy has the one girlfriend that can't stop taking her shirt off for some reason, and they make a horror movie, and it's just so bad. And I'm literally sitting there like this with like slobber running down my cheek from like, what am I watching? Yeah.
Mesmerized. But yeah, no, my
favorite horror movie comes out.
When you watch it, I'll tell you, my favorite character is the little sister. The little sister, she is my favorite character by far in the whole movie. She's hilarious.
Yeah, I think I'm definitely going to have to watch that now. That'll be something me and Anna will watch. Monster Squad. Anytime you say horror movie, Anna's ears perk up when you say Star Trek.
It's not a horror movie, though. That's the thing. It's an 80s kids action movie.
Yeah, it's a kids like teen action movie, but it has those characters and stuff. But
more like a tween action movie, I guess. It's like Goonies. It reminds me of Goonies.
My thing is, we do have stars.
Oh, we do?
My thing is, I like watching the different versions of Dracula. I was always a Hammer horror fan growing up. Christopher Lee. Mm-hmm. Well, I watched the 79 Dracula the other night with Frank Langella.
Mm-hmm.
Let me tell you, that man, if they had a bigger budget or it was later in time, he was awesome. He knew how to play the aristocrat Dracula and everything. He was great. The movie itself was like, meh, but
I'm a fan of Dracula, but you know who my favorite vampire is and always will be? Johnny Depp.
I can't.
I was just saying it. I
know.
I was going for that reaction.
I will say, as a movie, if you've never seen it before, you didn't have the history with it, and someone just, like 20s, 30s, whatever, went and saw it with their friends, and they'd never seen even the 90s version of Dark Shadows, with Ben Cross.
I loved it.
Yeah, Anna I like Johnny Depp, and it was good, but I think they made it more of a joke, almost a comedy, than what it was supposed to be.
It was
a horror soap opera.
But the thing is when you actually look back at it, see, you're watching the original with rose-colored glasses because you actually sit down and watch the original. Well, it's a comedy. I'm sorry. It was
supposed to be a supernatural soap opera. Originally, Dark Shadows wasn't even about Barnabas Collins and the vampire. It was with witches. It started off with witches, and I think they brought him in later on because it was dying.
Yeah.
And then you had witches and sea hags and werewolves, and you had everything in it.
Well, honestly, what it was basically just trying to go off the popularity of monster TV.
Right.
We had the Addams Family, we had the Munsters, but at the same time, they were comedy too. Monster TV has always been a comical TV. It's that sitcom sense, and even though it was a soap opera, it had its mystery part. But you go back, again, I'm not dissing you or anything, but you were remembering it with rose-colored glasses. We actually sit down and watch it again. It had a lot of comical moments and stuff like that. Well,
in the 70s was when I saw the original Dark Shadows when it was on. Mm-hmm. But you got to remember, I was born in 68.
Yeah.
So when I was watching it through the 70s, little stuff like that could scare the hell out of me. Kolchak, the Night Stalker.
Oh, Kolchak the Night Stalker was not a comedy in any way.
No, that wasn't a comedy.
Oh my God, that show and those movies were amazing. Oh, I wish they'd remake those.
When I saw the they did in the 90s with
no, not the junk they made. I mean, I want Kolchak the Night Stalker.
Well, when they had the vampire episode of that with Kolchak,
Yeah.
I slept under the covers for almost a year, man. I was dying with that. That female vampire. Oh my god. And yeah, Hollow Queen, I know you and a lot of people would like to take Spike from Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Angel was too broody for me. I liked Spike.
Oh, good Lord.
Twilight. No, they don't count as vampires, Val.
Okay, good. You didn't read the rest of it.
I'm getting there. Hold on. The book's okay. The movies, no. Vampire Diaries. The guys from the Vampire Diaries. Although I can't complain too much about them because the young one, not Damon, the other one is going to be Captain Kirk next season, I think. Yeah, Anna just handed me this. Rat kid. That's why nobody likes you. No.
Make him watch it. Make him watch it.
Oh, I watch it.
No.
I do like it. Don't get me wrong. I like Johnny Depp movies. Like Tim Burton, when he makes that style of movie, I like it.
Yeah.
But it's one of those ones that's hits a little too close for me. You know? Hey, I even like the Ben Cross 90s version, the 91 version of I like that one too. The his version that only did 13 episodes.
It wasn't much.
Because, well, like a lot of shows back then, it was 91. The Gulf War was on every channel. So a lot of shows didn't really last that long. Certain ones just kind of came off and
So Hollow Queen's favorite vampire is Piccolo.
It's one of my favorite
oh my
movies.
god. I haven't heard
One
that.
of my favorite movies.
What?
This is one of Anna's favorite.
God, I missed that movie. I liked that movie.
The one kid with the glasses, when he meets the little girl, I'm a pedophile. It's running off, you know. Harry Knowles.
You see that's Jar Jar Binks. He's gonna be the most popular character in Star
Oh
Wars
my
ever.
god. I almost wanted to see the fan theory of Jar Jar Binks as the Sith Lord or something.
I want that. I want that. That would be amazing. I wish that would have happened.
What did she say here? Spike. Yeah.
She said Spike. Spike was more fun. Like I
Yeah,
said,
I'm reading the comments as we go here.
she likes Piccolo. Piccolo's her favorite.
Yeah. I always watched the Hammer horror movies, but a lot of them didn't follow a lot of the vampire legends because a lot of them were like strolling around in the daylight and all that stuff. But I still don't understand.
If it went in daylight, they would just glitter like diamonds.
Okay. My thing with vampires is when you hear all the legends of vampires, all the different ones, and how far they go back, like Anne Rice's vampire. I like the way she did it when they're like 3,000 years before in Egypt. So why don't crosses work? Because they were around before crosses were a thing. So why would they work? You know, I like a lot of the legends. Vampires was always a hobby of mine growing up.
Morbius.
And yeah, we'll give Morbius the benefit of the doubt. I watched it.
I did not watch Morbius yet. I gotta wait till it comes out on.
It's on HBO Max. I know that.
It is on HBO Max.
Yeah, it's on
I'm
HBO
gonna
Max.
watch it.
That's where I watched it.
Everything I kept seeing of it was still, but rent it, and I'm like, no, I'm gonna wait.
No, it's on HBO Max. Anna and I have the same favorite scene in there, and you'll know exactly what one I'm talking about. Matt Smith is in the movie too. He plays Milo, Lucian, Milo, Michael Morbius's friend. You'll know exactly when you see it what scene we're talking about. I'm not going to spoil it for you.
That's
Hollow Queen. I'm not going to spoil it. I'm glad I waited until it came on streaming to watch it, because if I would have paid the money to see it, I'd have been pissed.
Really?
I think so. It was.
There's only been one movie I've paid the money to see, and I was pissed, and that was X-Men: The Last Stand. Like, I walked out of that movie. Like, I was sitting there watching it, and then Xavier gets floating in the air, and then poofs out of existence. I said, "We're leaving." I got up, walked out. The man was like, "You okay?" And I was like, "No, I'm not okay. I would have rather you take a stack of comic books and burn them in front of me than do that."
How about the Fantastic Four reboot.
Oh, I already knew it was going to be trash. I didn't go to the theaters to watch it.
I didn't even watch it. I started to see scenes of it in previews, and then I watched the trailer. I'm like, nah, I can pass on this.
Yeah, I watched it. That was my thing. I watched the trailer and I said, this is not Fantastic Four. I don't need to go watch it.
Yeah. I actually liked the other Fantastic Four.
I love the two.
I liked it. I think they could have did more with the Silver Surfer, but I liked it.
Yeah.
That was Doug Jones.
It was a little, it was campy that they could have improved, but comic book movies of the aughts had a formula problem. They did.
Yeah.
And Fantastic Four is one of them. They had a formula problem, and I'm waiting for a good one.
I was reading Holoqueen here, but I liked the original Charmed when it was out because I watch it with Val. It's not like I'd go out of my way to watch it. When she was, I'd sit and watch it.
I enjoyed it when it was airing and it's funny you say Charmed because he was in Fantastic Four.
Yeah,
he played Doom, but I was the same way. Like when it aired, I watched it. I enjoyed it. Now, I kid you not too long ago, I was like, ooh, let's watch this. I put it on. I couldn't get through 2 or 3 episodes of it.
The new one I didn't even try.
I was like, no. I turned it off. It was just like...
Well, back in the day, I used to have a thing for Alyssa Milano back in the day.
Who didn't?
And then,
you mentioned Commando yourself. Yeah. Anyone who's watched Commando had a crush on Alyssa Milano if they were.
Well, here's the thing. I have
they were a kid at the time.
My sister Tracy looks like Alyssa Milano, so that ruined it for me. My sister looks like her.
Yeah, that would ruin it for you.
And the fact that now I listen to her talk now, and I'm like, what happened? I'm just, I can't do it.
See, my thing is with Alyssa Milano was like, I was a kid when Commando came out. Yeah, I had a crush on her.
I wasn't.
It was a Commando. And then you turn around, like it was one of those things that, it was one of those little kid crushes thing.
Yeah.
But the cement, the time that I was like, I knew exactly at that moment who Alyssa Milano was Double Dragon.
Oh, God.
When Double Dragon came out, I was just like.
Well, she was in that movie, Embracing the Vampire, too, because I saw, she's in a vampire movie. Let me watch it. Then I was like, watching that movie, I'm like, oh, okay. A little uncomfortable, but all right. Yeah.
But it's like my other childhood crush was Sarah Jessica Parker. And that was because of Flight of the Navigator.
Oh, my God, yeah.
Huge crush on her because of that movie.
I just stopped having crushes like that on everybody I used to think was like Hubba Hubba in the movies or TV back then. I liked Alyssa Milano, my sister Tracy. Then I thought, wow, Jessica Alba's kind of cute. My sister Dana looks like Jessica Alba. So now I'm like, well, just enough.
Well, do you need to see? Do you need to go see a doctor?
No, I'm good.
All of my friends' childhood crushes was Megan Fox and Transformers.
Who didn't have a crush on Megan Fox?
The Transformers?
As long as she didn't talk. Just if anyone just said, ooh, that's Megan Fox, she's cute. But I got crap once for something like that. When I said, oh, she's really pretty, hubba hubba, on a comment. And this woman went off on me.
Stop objectifying women, Pizza.
Exactly. Oh, my God. You just go by what I said. And then I typed in very calmly and patiently. I said, look.
You read it calmly and patiently.
I said, I've never met this woman. I am going by what I know of this woman is her picture. We've never spoken. We've never met. We've never corresponded. This woman could be a third grade slow reading boring dipshit for all I know. So all I can speak to is the fact that I think she's attractive. Now, when I meet the woman, or if I ever do or not, and find out, the rest of the story, I will most certainly make a comment on that. But as of right now, don't bust my chops just because I said, oh, wow, she's pretty. It's a guy thing. We're visual, we're visual creatures. Women are more cerebral. Behind every great man is a great woman. And behind every great woman.
Fooled. You have been fooled. My wife will say, "Ooh, hubba hubba," 50,000 times more than I will.
Well, there's
I'm
still.
not a lot.
I'm not,
No,
I'm not saying women aren't visual.
That side.
I'm not saying women aren't visual, but the majority of the ones I've seen.
See, Hella Queen, back me up right there. Come on, women crush on men too. They
do. Yes, they do. They're better at hiding it than we are.
No, they're not better at hiding it. It's just no one calls them out on it. Reason being, this is why. Guys can be aggressive with guys can be aggressive. They can be aggressive with their cat calling and make women feel uncomfortable.
Yeah, that's just wrong.
That's where the line is. That's where that line is has drawn it.
Right.
Is because of that, it's become a stigma. The other situation. So you got a lot of females out there that don't want it. That's the thing. If I were to just randomly yell out to some girl, some lady walking down the street, "Oh boy, you're hot," she'd probably be like, "No, don't objectify me." If I'm walking to somebody, I don't care if you're a guy, girl, god, demon, whatever, you turn around and be like, "Man, you're hot." I'd be like, "Thank you." Someone thinks I'm hot. Hell yeah.
I know. I'd be like flying all day,
guys.
I'd be flying all day. Val has even told me sometimes. Apparently, we've had over the years. Val and I have been together almost 20 years, and apparently, women have flirted with me when she's around, and she's picked it up, and I'm just like, "Okay, thanks," and I don't get it. I'm just walking off like I don't know.
I have no clue.
No, I don't know. And she's like,
I have no clue.
And she's like, "That girl was flirting with you." I'm like, "Flirting with me? Really? What?"
Culture lady at.
Oh my God! This one woman, she was even. My kids informed me of this little category. She was too old to even be a cougar. They were calling her a turkey vulture. That's how old this woman was. She called me. What did she? A strapping young buck.
No, she called you a dilf.
A dilf. Yeah, one girl called me a dilf. I'm like, what?
I was just trying to buy hair dye.
And I had to ask her what that meant.
A dilf is, dude.
I'm oblivious. Sometimes I can pick it up, and other times I'm just like, duh, you know. And I was just like, I've been called the strapping young buck. The one girl called me a dilf, and I'm just like, okay, I've got my kids, and I'm wandering off. I don't know. I'm following Robbie into the toy section to look and see what's in there, And Anna is like, "Oh my God, Dad, did you just hear that?"
I was just trying to buy hair dye.
I'm like, "No, if I would have heard it, I'd have been like, hey, how you doing?" The rest of the day.
Exactly. But see, and at the same time, again, this doesn't go for everybody. Disclaimer, this doesn't go for everyone. I know everybody's different. Everyone has had different experiences. They have different triggers based off those experiences and stuff like that. Doesn't go for everybody. But the other thing I've noticed with a lot of women that I've worked with and been around by observing them, and I have had legitimate situations where they tried to get somebody in trouble for getting coffee, is there are a lot of people out there that their attraction to the other person dictates how they perceive the other person in real world sense. If they find a guy attractive and a guy asks them out, they like it. They're giddy. They're excited. If they find the guy unattractive and the guy asks him out in the exact same manner, exact same scenario as the guy they find attractive, he is creepy, overbearing. Get away from me. No. It has nothing to do with the action of the other person. It has to do with their attraction to that person.
I've heard that. I mean, I've listened. I like watching comedy shows too. And Elijah Schlesinger even said that. She goes, how excited we get or offended we get is based on sometimes on the attractiveness of the person doing it. So I giggle about that too, but it's just, and that goes with the whole thing when people say the toxic masculinity and guys, the toxic masculinity thing. I say there's no such thing as toxic masculinity. You want to fix it. It's just a guy being an asshole. You teach your kids not to be an asshole. That's all it is. There's not going to be, you don't want him to be a jerk. It's not toxic masculinity. You teach him not to catcall people or grab somebody or, something. You don't do it. You can still be a man and not be toxic. Granted, I'm not a hunter.
What it boils down to is everybody is different.
Yeah.
Everybody's different. It's like I teach my kids. you know, in this house, do my kids cuss? If it's just me in the room, they do. I don't pay any mind to it. Words are words.
We try to get them.
Here's the thing, right? Here's the thing. If I were to look at you and I were to say, Robert, you're a butthole, and I were to say, Robert, you're an asshole, I mean the exact same thing.
Yep.
So why should the changing 4 letters into 3 letters offend you more? It shouldn't. It's the meaning, and that's what I teach them. But I also teach them, you don't say it around certain people. Don't say it out in public. You can be a certain way around certain people, and that's how it is. Life is acting. Life is being a particular way around particular people.
They have I tell my kids, we don't. I mean, granted, my kids are getting a little older. Like Robbie is 18, Anna's 16, Matthew's 14. And I know they slip. And I know I've heard them say it when they're not paying attention or they think I'm not paying attention. And I'm just like, all right, but when we're out or my parents are visiting or something like that, like I tell Anna, no, if my parents are here or you're at school, don't call your brother a big dick bag or something like that. You know what I mean? But yeah, it goes a little on the weirder side around here sometimes. Do I worry about it? No, and they say there was that article about people who curse are actually more intelligent. Did you ever read that?
I gotta build up myself,
Yeah, I was gonna say then I'm a freaking genius, but yeah, Val don't curse. We can get her to curse. I've been getting her to curse a lot lately.
Good, it's healthy.
Tell Crashley, Val Crashley can do it. We're still now. We just got to get Jen to say the F word or something like that once in a while. But
you know what's funny though? I utilize the whole meaning thing with my kids.
Yeah,
they'll say something and that means, the same thing, and I'll be like, "Really? You're going to use that language around me? What? I said this. You said it again?
Yeah."
And they're like, "What?" I'm like, "That means this."
Yeah.
I was like, and I think that's what it boils down to is I do it jokingly, but I also do it to go, it's not the letters. A word is just a group of letters. It's the meaning behind it.
That's why I like George Carlin. He was big on, talking about how words mean this. You put them together like this. And, why are you upset about it? It's just this. He's got a couple new shows on too that are on streaming. It's like documentaries on him. Yeah. I always liked him.
But going back, I know I'm hopping back conversation a little bit here. But I wanted to say it and we lost track before I could segue to it. We were talking about remakes and sequels and 80s movies and stuff and based off books. I
got him again.
I'm holding out. I really want one of my favorite Halloween movies as a kid that I really want to have an updated, all in, high budget, dark, deep into the novel movie is Something Wicked This Way Comes. I loved that movie as a kid, and I still love it. I'll still put it on. I'll be the only one watching it because they're like, "You're watching this? That's old. That looks like crap." And I'm like, "Shut up. Go in the other room."
I just saw them talking about they've remade another movie. Oh, they're redoing Father of the Bride again. I think it's been long enough since the last one with Steve Martin.
I don't think it was. I don't think it's been long enough to watch the first one.
If you want to watch the first one, you got to go back in the 50s with Elizabeth Taylor.
Exactly.
I've watched the first one. Steve Martin I liked. Let me rephrase that.
They were
funny. I liked the movies, but
they were funny, but they're not that memorable to me. I mean, the Elizabeth Taylor one to me wasn't that great.
No. But
it's like when Jim Carrey did Fun with Dick and Jane. Like, why are you redoing redo Arsenic and Old Lace?
That would be a good one.
Pick good ones to redo. Why pick these? Redo Guys and Dolls. People love The Greatest Showman. They love Hamilton. These musicals are coming out and people are loving them. Redo Guys and Dolls. I mean, come on. The musical was amazing. Marlon Brando, was awesome in that.
Well, that's why some of the people say they're going to redo. They wanted to redo A Streetcar Named Desire. I'm like, how do you remake a movie like with that, like Brando and all them guys? You know what I mean? I don't know.
They could redo A Streetcar Named Desire. It would just a period piece, and that's the thing. Same thing with Guys and Dolls. It can be a period piece, but it's just Guys and Dolls to me had so much. It had such an underlying message that if you actually sit there and pay attention, you're like, okay, I can resonate with this somewhat. It was just great. It was just overall, it had fun music. I mean, come on. Luck Be a Lady Tonight, Frank Sinatra took that song and ran with it. Even though Marlon Brando's the one that sung it in the musical, Frank Sinatra took it and ran with it. But I think he wrote it. I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes when they redo a movie, they just
butcher it.
I don't know. Some of the classics, like one of my favorite movies was Casablanca and the original Ocean's 11, and then they redid them.
I loved the remakes.
I did not.
The original Ocean's 11 was great. I wasn't a fan of the ending, which and
yeah,
it was fun, but I liked the remakes. Now, don't get me wrong. If they turn around and say, "Oh yeah, this is awesome. We're going to remake Guys and Dolls," and then they turn around and start having music to it, and it's all rap and pop and hip hop music, I'm going to be like, "That's not Guys and Dolls."
Right.
Hi, I'm done. You killed it. You ruined it. You beat it to death. And just because I'm not a fan of that music, if they turn around and tried to make it rock music or country, I'm not a fan of country either. I think rock is the only other one that I like. Even if they said, "Oh, we're going to make it a rock," no. It has to be that music. It has to be that style. But you can still update it or redo it. It's just it'd be fun.
Makes sense.
Yeah, some of the stuff when they redo, like Anna was saying about when they just redid The Great Gatsby. I thought Leonardo DiCaprio was an awesome Gatsby. I loved it. But they had some of the music was changed in there too. I think
like pop music and rap.
Yeah, they had pop and rap and stuff in the background.
40s dancing to like Florida. Like.
I still get a kick out of
that. Annoys me. Now, if it's done in a sense to where it's like that tune, like what's that show? Crash was watching Bridgerton. Like all that orchestral music in that show is modern music done in orchestral. I could do that. I could see that, but I actually haven't sat down and watched The Great Gatsby with Leonardo DiCaprio.
It's really good
because I enjoyed the book when I read it a long time ago.
Yeah,
I couldn't stand the movie, the first movie they made on it. I couldn't stand the movie. Couldn't stand it, and I just hadn't watched the new one yet because I was like, we have a habit of Hollywood going, "Oh, we're going to remake this movie." And they're remaking a movie based off an old movie that's based off of a book, and they remake it based off the movie. And that part of me's going, they're remaking it based off the movie because it's how they advertised it. That's what they said about it. All this stuff. I'm like, how much is it going to be like the book?
Well, the new movie, the new Gatsby is closer to the book.
Okay.
I
understand.
I guess. Did you hate Harlequin? Did you hate The Great Gatsby because it was assigned, or it just wasn't your cup of tea?
I hated The Great Gatsby.
Anna hated it. I liked it. Like, there's a lot of people that love Hemingway. I'm not a Hemingway fan. I can't. I find him pretentious and too into subtext, and that's not what I'm. I'm not a Hemingway fan. And of course, in college, when I'm saying, "Can I get a different assignment to do a report on?" I had to do a paper on a Hemingway book, and I said how I wasn't a fan. I'm this. Turns out my college professor was the president of the local Hemingway Society thing. So I'm like, great, thank you. And he goes, well, it's not everybody's cup of tea. He was cool about it. But after he said that, I was like, shit. What's it say?
It wasn't because she was assigned. It was because it's just not her cup of tea.
Yeah, that's
sucks.
Yeah, there were a few characters in there.
The problem about Gatsby as a book is it was slow.
Yes.
Gatsby as a book was extremely slow, but it had aspects Like it wasn't by far one of my favorite books at all, but it had
That was a
aspects
close
that I enjoyed that interested me, and
Right.
the first movie, the original movie that came out based on it, just changed a lot of those aspects. So I was like, you took everything out of it that I was enjoying of the book.
You know what book I like?
Yeah. I mean, it's not one of my favorite books, but I enjoyed it more than a lot of the other stuff I was assigned back then. And it's not it was definitely a book I was assigned in college. That's when I read it. So it's not like meh, you know. I remember seeing the movie in school, and I think in 8th grade they showed the original movie with Robert Redford.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the one you weren't crazy about. But, you know, a lot of books that I read are just, you know, I like reading classic books. Like, I would love to see a great Moby Dick movie, you know, done well.
Have you yet not watched the Patrick Stewart Moby Dick?
I've never seen Patrick Stewart's Moby Dick, no.
Oh, it's epic.
I did not even know he did a Moby Dick, to tell you the truth. Oh, my God.
It's amazing. It's not. It's obviously not 100% to the book,
Right.
but it's still amazing. You have not seen Patrick Stewart's Moby Dick.
I have not. Oh, my God. I love his is my favorite Christmas movie, Scrooged. Or not Scrooged, I'm sorry.
A Christmas Carol.
Yeah, the Christmas Carol that he did. I enjoyed that. Years ago I saw his one-man Christmas Carol on stage in Philadelphia. And I mean, but I haven't seen Moby Dick since the old,
It was a show.
I think 50s movie was a show.
It was one season of a show.
Moby Dick from Patrick Stewart was a one season.
That's what it says.
Anna looked it up. She said it was a one season
It's on Pluto for free.
show. Huh.
That's what it says.
Okay, I don't feel as bad anymore. If
It must have been a mini series. When I watched that, I watched it from beginning to end.
Huh.
Look.
I will. Okay, that's why I say I don't feel that bad. If Halloween didn't know it existed like that, then I don't feel so bad no more.
It was a mini series. It had 2 episodes. It was a 2-part mini series.
Okay, this has a season,
like I
a
said,
whole one season.
One season could be 2 episodes.
Right? Yeah, one season on Pluto.
And again, like I said, it's not high budget. It was made for TV. I remember watching it on. I think I got it on DVD a long time ago from a $1 bin or $5 bin or whatever. I don't have any more. That was back before I sold all my DVDs. But yeah, it was just one of those things that I watched it. And again, like I said, it's made for TV. It's not epic like, ooh, I need to go to the movies and watch it. But it's still really well done if you love the book.
Okay.
It's still a good, like, Patrick Stewart by far is like rules that whole movie, mini-series, whatever you want to call it.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Definitely check it out, though.
Then that I read it
What's
outside of school. The Catcher in the Rye.
Okay.
It's better now that I know.
Yeah, Anna likes. She's read Catcher in the Rye. She likes that one.
It's better now that it's not for school.
Yeah, when it's. I think you get a little more enjoyment out of a book when it's not an assignment.
Well, yeah, you got to analyze.
When you picked it up because you wanted to, and you're not like, because always in school when something was assigned, oh, what's your opinion? And it better be the same as the teacher's, or you got it wrong, you know. But I think when you have your own opinion on something and you can read it at your leisure.
The only book that I read for school that I actually really liked, and I'm glad we read it, was Tuesdays with Maury.
I don't remember that one.
About this guy.
Yes, Halloween. Another national treasure is Patrick Stewart.
No, he's a world treasure.
Oh yes,
Universal treasure.
From Sir Patrick Stewart. Yeah, yeah. I like everything he pretty much does. I really enjoy. I mean, he even had he was in this movie early 80s, Life Force. You remember that one? The space alien vampire things that sucked your. He was even in that, and he had hair. It was funny. And Dune, he was in the original Dune.
Even those like little Disney style kids 90s movies he did.
Yeah.
It was the one where he was taking over a school and the kid on the skateboard or whatever had to defeat him type thing. He was like a hacker taking over a school. What was the name of that movie?
Geez.
Oh, I got to look that one up now. Come on, Halloween. You know the name of that movie. He was the villain, and he was taking over the school, and it was like some skater kid or whatever had to defeat him.
I don't even remember. Most of the 90s for me, I didn't get to watch a lot of movies then because a lot of that I was still in the Navy and overseas and back and forth. And, we were getting, third and fourth run 80s movies still in the 90s from that they sent over to us back then.
Let's see here. Where is it?
Oh, Halloween doesn't know about that one either.
Masterminds.
I've heard of that.
1997.
I've heard of that movie, but I didn't know who was in it.
Trapped in a school in which a gang of criminals has seized control. A young troublemaker fights a cat and mouse battle from inside. But yeah, he's this I'll show you the one of the poster.
Oh God, he gave him a cheesy mustache and everything. Look at that.
Come on, give it better.
I can see it. That's funny.
Oh man, he did all kinds of stuff like that though too. Like he did Masterminds, he did Safe House. He's doing the voice in Family or American Dad.
Oh yeah, he did a lot of voiceovers even for.
I completely and totally forgot he did the Canterville Ghost remake in 1996. See, that's an original movie that I love. The Canterville Ghost, Secret Garden with Al from
Ed O'Neill.
No, he played Al in. It was right there. They're remaking the show. They're bringing it back. It's not a remake. They're continuing it.
Home
Scott
Improvement?
Bakula. No, Scott Bakula.
Oh, Quantum
Leap. He played Al in Quantum Leap. What is his name? I lost it.
I thought the guy that played Al died.
He did.
Oh, okay.
But he played the little boy in the original Secret Garden, which was an amazing film.
Oh, all right.
Another really good film that I honestly would like a remake of is On Borrowed Time.
Dean Stockwell?
Yeah, Dean Stockwell.
Yeah, Dean Stockwell.
Yeah, I don't remember that one offhand.
The original black and white Secret Window, which it was sort of done the same way, or not Secret Window, Secret Garden. It was sort of done the same way that Wizard of Oz was done. When she's outside the Secret Garden, when she's going about her life and befriending this boy that's in a wheelchair, which is Dean Stockwell. I mean, he was, to give you an idea of how old this movie is, Dean Stockwell was a little boy, probably about 7 years old.
Oh my God.
6 or 7 in this wheelchair, character in this wheelchair.
Yeah.
When she's out and about, it's black and white. But then when she goes through the gate to the Secret Garden, it's color.
Oh, wow.
They painted it Technicolor type thing. It was just a really well done film. But like the Canterville Ghost, I love the Canterville Ghost in the original. I forgot he did a remake. I need to find it so I can watch it again because I haven't watched it since they did it in the 90s.
Yeah, I'll have to take a look.
But did you never watch? You've not seen On Borrowed Time?
I probably have, but it's not ringing a bell to tell you the truth.
It's got Drew Barrymore's grandfather. I think it's her grandfather.
John Barrymore.
Who?
John
Barrymore?
Yeah. Yeah.
John might be.
It was her grandfather. I can look up see exactly who it was. I got IMDb right in front of me.
I mean, there for a while, I was into the old movies. Like, I still love The Bishop's Wife at Christmas. Like I said, Casablanca. Lionel
Barrymore.
Lionel Barrymore, okay.
Lionel Barrymore. This movie was made in 1939. But, oh my God, it's so surreal and sad.
What was the garden one Johnny Depp did?
Alice in Wonderland?
No. You're thinking of The Secret Window.
Oh, that's it. I'm thinking of no, not The Secret Window. No, I'm thinking of something completely different. My bad. I completely brain farted. It was the one Finding Neverland or something like that.
Oh, yeah. Where he Yeah.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, that was a good one. No, On Borrowed Time is basically Lionel Barrymore. He's he may be her great grandfather. I don't know. He's old in the movie,
Finding never wanted to go next.
and he's dying. Like he's dying, and death comes by to get him, but death shows up like a traveling salesman.
Mm-hmm.
So they trick death up into the tree, and death is stuck in the tree. Like he made some sort of deal. Something happened. I can't remember. I'm foggy on what it is. But death is stuck in this tree. So now he's living on borrowed time. His grandson did it so his grandson could spend time with him. So him and his grandson are doing all these things while death's stuck in the tree, because the moment death can get out of the tree,
he's done. Yeah.
He gets he's done. It's a very well done film of its time. It is bittersweet because obviously death's not going to stay in the tree forever.
Right.
But I mean, it can be sad. Extremely bittersweet in the end. I don't want to spoil it for anybody. If you do want to watch it, if you like old black and white movies, definitely check it out. I don't know if there's any place to stream it. That's one of those things about them is, you can rent it on Prime for $2.99.
There, a lot of the old black and white movies like that, I don't know why, but I find myself more inclined to watch them in the wintertime, like on the weekends when it's cold outside. You just climb up on the couch and watch an old movie.
No, I get that. Oh, apparently it's based on a Broadway stage hit.
Oh, wow.
Oh, they redid that? Hold on, let's see. It says in 2018, 4 friends spend their senior years in an assisted living facility in Dubai. They find they are gradually losing their zest for life. That's not that movie. That's some other one. 2012. That's not. So they haven't remade it.
They
That's
just use the same name.
Yeah. But no, man, I like those old 80s movies. But guys, it's midnight for pizza. It's 11 o'clock for me. We're gonna go ahead and call it. I was wanting to call it earlier, but I got hung up in the talking.
Yeah, I mean, you're gonna have to watch Morbius this week.
Yes, I'm gonna watch Morbius this weekend.
Obi-Wan and the next, Star Trek Obi-Wan.
Strange New Worlds.
Orville.
For anyone watching, we've got a live next Thursday, but we will not have a live the Thursday following because I'm going to be in Ohio at the Crafters Retreat with Crashly.
Oh, wow.
And then we'll come back the Thursday after that. So that
what part of Ohio are you guys going to be in?
Northwestern Ohio.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, because Ohio is 6 hours from us. Right across the end.
Yeah, I don't know how far away the retreat is from you guys. It would have been awesome if you could have gone.
Yeah, with everything, with the move and everything now.
I completely get that, yeah.
I am going to, one of these days, I'm going to have to make sure we can kick Val out to a retreat once, get her out there with everybody.
Well, J-Rob does her, we'll talk about that off air. Everybody, we're going to head out. See you next Thursday. Guys, catch up. Stranger Things, season 4, volume 1. Obi-Wan. We'll have episode 4 finished by the time we start. Strange New Worlds. I don't know exactly what episode we're on with that. 5?
We just watched 5 was tonight. 5 was tonight. I watched that.
6 will be out and ready by then. Apparently Morbius is free on HBO Max right now if you have HBO Max. So we can catch up on some stuff. We'll catch you next weekend. Thanks for coming out.
Yeah.
As always, live long and prosper. This is the way. Nurse out. Wrong mouse.